He's a ruthless fighter. He's a savior. He's a good friend. And he respects everyone. But in the end, he got a permanent scar on his face while fighting the mafia alone. Can he bring justice for himself? Let's find out. Goon Woo is a skilled boxer who is training hard for an upcoming match. Besides his impressive boxing abilities, he's also a kind and respectful young man. When he got home, he saw his mother on the phone, asking for more time to pay the rent for her shop. After his parents' divorce, his mom has been running a cafe to support them. This motivated Goon Woo to train even harder, knowing that winning the match could bring in a good prize to help them out. Meanwhile, 3 government officials were talking about a construction project that had been delayed due to the COVID pandemic, which caused the construction company to go bankrupt. Soon after, a man named Kim Myung-gil joined their meeting. He wanted to invest the money needed to finish the building, which was rumored to be a luxury hotel. Though Kim Myung-gil often lends money to various people, he doesn't like being called a loan shark. He explained how he's been in the investment business for many years. The officials eventually agreed to borrow 100 billion won from him under the condition that a small casino would be built on the top floor of the hotel. This made Kim Myung-gil's wife happy, as she planned to start a nightlife business if the hotel opened. Later, Kim Myung-gil discussed with his trusted advisor, Jang Do, about some of the people who still owed him money. Meanwhile, Goon Woo is getting ready to compete in a national beginners boxing tournament. Due to the pandemic, the tournament had to be held without any spectators. Even without the crowd, Goon Woo beat his opponent, Woo Jin, using strong side punches. His mother, who was working, watched his impressive performance through a live broadcast. After the match, Goon Woo invited Woo Jin to eat with him, saying that they were only rivals in the ring. Woo Jin accepted the offer, not just because he was hungry, but because he was broke and his coach had ignored him after he lost. While they ate, Woo Jin asked Goon Woo about the prize money. Goon Woo explained that he planned to give all the money to his mother to help pay off her debts. Woo Jin was impressed by Goon Woo's powerful left hand, which had knocked him out during the match. They became even closer when they realized they had served in the same infantry during their military service. On their way home, they exchanged phone numbers, and Woo Jin promised to treat Goon Woo next time. When Goon Woo gave his mom the envelope of money, she was deeply moved, thinking he should keep the money for himself. Goon Woo is very dedicated to his mother, especially since he never knew his father. One evening, Goon Woo noticed a group of men in luxury cars near his mother's shop. These men worked for Kim Myung-gil and had bad intentions. They were tricking business owners by offering loans with low interest rates, but their real goal was to take over the building owned by these business owners. The next day, Myung-gil instructed his employees to pressure business owners, including Goon Woo's mom, who had borrowed money from his company, Smile Capital. Smile Capital offered a government-backed program to help business owners affected by the pandemic. However, hidden in the fine print of the agreement was a clause that required borrowers to pay a 20% administration fee each week for loan renewal, which most people didn't notice. On that day, since the boxing gym was closed, Goon Woo decided to visit Woo Jin at his home. While searching for Woo Jin's address, Goon Woo saw a homeless man who had just been attacked by a mysterious person. Goon Woo chased after the attacker and discovered it was a woman. She told him she wasn't a criminal and asked him to stay out of it. The woman, named Hyun Ju, later met with an old man named Mr. Choi. She told him that she had just fought someone who refused to repay his debt. Mr. Choi is a millionaire who uses his money to help those in need, often lending money without interest. He believes that using his wealth to save lives is a true blessing. Knowing that Yunju's safety was at risk due to her work with him, Mr. Choi reached out to an acquaintance, Moon Gwang-moo, to hire a reliable bodyguard for her. Meanwhile, at Woo Jin's house, Goon Woo and Woo Jin talked about their struggles with unemployment. Goon Woo then suggested they become delivery workers, as it would help them earn money and stay in shape at the same time. A week later, Smile Capital started collecting debts from the shop owners. Their first stop was Yoon So-yeon's shop, Goon Woo's mother's cafe. Kim Myung-gil's men, led by Kim Jun-min and accompanied by bodyguards, threatened her, demanding the renewal fee in exchange for a lower interest rate. They even went as far as damaging her store to intimidate her. Realizing she had been tricked, So-yeon, filled with fear and anxiety, called her son and begged him to come home immediately, as several men were threatening her. Seeing his mother in danger, Goon Woo fought off 10 of Kim Myung-gil's bodyguards with his bare hands. Afterward, Goon Woo asked one of the bodyguards what they really wanted. Moments later, Kim Myung-gil arrived with more bodyguards and explained that So-yeon had borrowed money from his company. Kim Myung-gil was impressed by Gun-woo's strength, especially since none of his men, including his strongest bodyguard in Byum, had ever been challenged like this. However, feeling humiliated when Gun-woo spat at him in front of his men, Kim cuts Gun-woo's face deeply with a knife, and his mother can't do anything to help because there's no one else in the shop. After Kim Myung-gil left, So-yeon called an ambulance and rushed Gun-woo to the hospital. Luckily, Gun-woo was physically strong, so despite needing 30 stitches on his face, he didn't feel much pain. So-yeon was heartbroken, knowing that Gun-woo had to suffer because of her mistake in borrowing money from Myung-gil. A few days later, Woo-jin reviewed So-yeon's loan papers and confirmed that Smile Group had scammed her, but Gun-woo couldn't report it to the police, as doing so could put his mother's life in danger. Although the scars on his face would never fully disappear, Gun-woo was thankful that there was no nerve damage. A doctor suggested laser treatment to reduce the scars, but Gun-woo refused. His priority was to pay off his mother's debts to avoid even higher interest. Woo-jin kept his promise and treated Gun-woo to his favorite restaurant. After the meal, Gun-woo overheard Woo-jin on the phone asking someone for a loan to help him. They later visited a loan shark they thought could assist Gun-woo. However, the loan shark had one condition. Gun-woo would have to work as a debt collector for him. Both Woo-jin and Gun-woo declined, as the job required them to use violence, something they weren't willing to do. He thought that beating up weak people for money was no different from being a thug. Meanwhile, Hyun-ju was tailing a debtor named Jae Myung, who had recently borrowed money from several lenders. Jae Myung then handed some money to one of Kim Myung-gil's men, Jun-min. Sensing something was off, Hyun-ju shared her suspicions with Mr. Choi. Choi Tae-ho suspected that Jae Myung was involved in fraud, as he had used the identities of homeless people. Tae-ho believed Jae Myung was working for a loan mafia, similar to a scheme he had seen decades earlier, though the person behind it had fled abroad. At the same time, Moon Gwang-moo was still searching for a suitable bodyguard for Choi Tae-ho. Unexpectedly, Woo-jin called him, and Gwang-moo immediately realized that Woo-jin was the perfect choice for the job. He thought Woo-jin was ideal, not only because he was an athlete, but also because they had known each other since their military days. Initially, Gun-woo met Gwang-moo to borrow money, but Gwang-moo suggested they go meet Choi Tae-ho, who was looking for a bodyguard. Choi Tae-ho was known for helping people unconditionally, and Gwang-moo explained that he was a close associate of Bang Soo-ho, a director with a vast amount of money circulating in Korea. Seeing the potential in Gun-woo and Woo-jin, Choi Tae-ho decided to hire them. Gun-woo and Woo-jin quickly realized that Choi Tae-ho was no ordinary person. He was always surrounded by skilled undercover agents. That very day, Choi Tae-ho paid Gun-woo 2 years' worth of salary in advance, knowing he was in urgent need of money. Gun-woo used the money to help his mother pay off her debts, choosing to put his dream of becoming a boxer on hold. For Gun-woo, his mother's happiness meant everything. Later, Jun-min expressed to his boss, Kim Myung-gil, that what they did to Gun-woo a few days earlier was excessive. Myung-gil responded that using violence was necessary to instill fear, especially against determined people like Gun-woo. A short while later, Myung-gil met with Hung-min Byum, the eldest son of Lil Group, with whom he had made a prior deal. Min Byum was growing suspicious of Myung-gil's business practices and planned to investigate Smile Capital's dealings and assets. After the meeting, Myung-gil realized he needed to be more cautious, knowing that Hung-min Byum had many influential connections, including ties with law enforcement and politicians. Myung-gil then instructed Jang-do to gather more information about Choi Tae-ho. Meanwhile, Gun-woo was about to meet the woman he was assigned to escort, Hyun-ju. It turns out that Mr. Choi hides a lot of money among the books in his secondhand bookstore. When Gun-woo and Woo-jin discovered the money hidden in neatly arranged book boxes, they were both shocked and puzzled as to why Mr. Choi didn't keep his money in a bank. Gun-woo recognized Hyun-ju from a previous encounter when she had tasered him. As Choi Tae-ho had guessed, Hyun-ju initially refused to have an escort, saying she could handle things on her own. In response, Gun-woo begged on his knees for a trial period, explaining that he desperately needed a job to pay off his mother's debts. Feeling sorry for him, Hyun-ju agreed to give Gun-woo a chance and invited him to eat with her. During their meal, Gun-woo shared his family's troubles. Besides dealing with the debt and its interest, his mother's cafe had been destroyed by debt collectors. Together, Hyun-ju and Gun-woo investigated Jae Myung, discovering that he had been pretending to be homeless and using fake identities to get loans. Hyun-ju suspected that this operation was run by someone very powerful. Jae Myung had tricked the homeless by pretending to offer them compensation, but actually used their identity cards as collateral for debt. When Gun-woo saw a homeless person injured by Jae Myung, he called an ambulance to get the person medical help. Hyun-ju was upset and and angry, thinking Goon-woo's actions had caused her to lose track of Jae Myung. She fired Goon-woo and Woo-jin for not following her orders, ruining her plans to gather evidence against Jae Myung. Goon-woo argued with Hyun-ju, saying he couldn't ignore someone in need and that he didn't want to be as callous as Smile Capital's boss, who mistreats the weak. As they were leaving Mr. Choi's bookstore, Goon-woo and Woo-jin received a message from Hyun-ju saying she had changed her mind and allowed them to continue working the next day. Meanwhile, Jae Myung went to Jun-min, claiming he had been beaten by two men wearing red cat hats. He mentioned that he had previously owed money to a loan shark whose collectors also wore similar hats. Jun-min panicked as he realized that their data collection on the homeless was becoming known. Jae Myung then took Jun-min to Mr. Choi's bookstore, where he had borrowed money from an old disabled man. The next day, Hyun-ju and her two bodyguards, Goon-woo and Woo-jin, were planning how to force Jae Myung to repay the money he had borrowed. In the middle of their discussion, they were shocked to see Jae Myung and Jun-min enter the bookstore. Hyun-ju quickly turned off the lights and locked the door tightly. Jun-min noticed that the bookstore's gate was made of sturdy, indestructible iron, making it clear that the place was more than just a regular store. With Jae Myung and Jun-min there, Hyun-ju became more cautious, realizing that Smile Capital had discovered her hideout. Soon after, Mr. Choi and his assistant, Owen Muk, arrived and asked what was happening, having noticed the strangers in his store. When Mr. Choi heard Hyun-ju's plan, he told them not to go after Jae Myung. Hyun-ju argued against his order, saying that Mr. Choi's efforts to help the poor would be wasted if the money ended up with the loan shark mafia. However, Hyun-ju's friendship with her bodyguard is growing closer, even though they have only just get to know each other. Hyun-ju shared that Mr. Choi was a kind-hearted man who genuinely helped the poor and ran several orphanages. He taught her many life lessons, including how to protect herself and ride a motorcycle. After hearing her story, Goon-woo promised to repay Mr. Choi's kindness for her. One day, Myung-gil ordered his henchman, Jang-do, to attack Hong-min Beom for disrespecting him. In a nearby parking lot, Min Beom was assaulted and warned to stop investigating Kim Myung-gil. The real reason Myung-gil had lent Min Beom money was to take over his hotel. He planned to frame Min Beom by spreading rumors that he was running an illegal gambling operation disguised as a casino. Elsewhere, Mr. Choi discovered that Smile Capital was led by Kim Myung-gil, whom he knew from years ago. Kim Myung-gil used to be Mr. Choi's subordinate at an investment company that Mr. Choi had to shut down for reasons he kept secret. Even when the company closed, Mr. Choi made sure his employees received their full salaries and severance pay, despite many debtors still owing money. Kim Myung-gil had teamed up with Beom to rob Mr. Choi's office safe. Mr. Choi caught them but couldn't stop Beom, who overpowered him and threw him from a great height, leaving him paralyzed. Myung-gil stole all the money in the safe, along with debt notes worth billions. He then set the office on fire. It took Mr. Choi a long time to recover, and with the help of Oh In-mok, he shifted away from the loan business and focused on humanitarian work, using his remaining assets. Meanwhile, Kim Myung-gil and Beom fled. Armed with the stolen debt notes, Myung-gil collected the debts owed to Mr. Choi, which became the foundation of his growing fortune. Mr. Choi told Hyun-ju not to get involved with Jae Myung and asked her to remove the money from the bookstore. He wanted to live peacefully as he grew older and still had many things to give Hyun-ju. Meanwhile, for the first time, Kim Myung-gil showed Beom all his hidden gold in a secret place. He explained that if things didn't go well in Korea, they could use the gold to live a luxurious life abroad. He treated Beom like a younger brother and promised him a lavish future. Hyun-ju hesitated when she learned how many people Jae Myung had hurt. Together with Goon-woo and Woo-jin, they decided to capture Jae Myung, even though Mr. Choi had warned them not to. That night, they went to watch Jae Myung's base, but Jae Myung was ready for them. He set a trap and called Jun-min to bring gangsters. Goon-woo and Woo-jin fell into the trap in an empty building and were attacked by the gangsters. When Jun-min saw Goon-woo's face, he ordered his men to kidnap So-yeon, who was asleep at home. Sensing her friends were in danger, Hyun-ju called Mr. Choi. Without hesitation, Mr. Choi sent two of his best men to help. A man named Yang Jun was sent to protect So-yeon, and he stopped the kidnapping by cutting Jae Myung's tendons, leaving him helpless. At the same time, Goon-woo and Woo-jin fought the gangsters, while Hyun-ju tried to help with her stun gun. Another man sent by Mr. Choi, Lee Do-young, arrived at the scene but left after seeing that Goon-woo and Woo-jin had already won the fight. Soon after, Goon-woo received a call from his mother. She told him she was safe at Mr. Choi's house, but was worried about him and Woo-jin, who were badly beaten. Mr. Choi warned them not to act alone, as they were facing a large criminal group and this fight could lead to death. He cared deeply for Hyun-ju and didn't want her to get hurt. He explained that the adults should handle the situation. Mr. Choi then told Hyun-ju to find a safe place for So-yeon, since her home was no longer secure. He entrusted dealing with Kim Myung-gil to Yang Jun and Do-young, as he was too old to take revenge himself. The next day, Kim Myung-gil visited the injured gangsters, including Jae Myung's group, at the hospital. Based on what they told him, Kim Myung-gil realized the person who had attacked them was highly skilled with butcher knives. He then held a meeting with his trusted men, Jun-min, Jang-do, and Beom. Myung-gil was convinced that the man who attacked him was an old enemy he thought he'd killed. He remembered Yang Jun, a highly skilled and elusive man feared by many gangsters. He also suspected that the girl involved in the fight was connected to Choi Tai-ho. Myung-gil ordered Jang Do and Byum to keep watch on the bookstore, which he believed was being used as a money vault. Now, a bit about Hwang Yang-jun. He runs a sashimi restaurant that Mr. Choi had started. That day, he told a friend he needed to take a short leave for an important task. Yang-jun had been Mr. Choi's go-to man for handling difficult jobs since the founding of the investment company. He met with his comrade, Lee Do-young, to plan how to take down Smile Capital on Choi Tae-ho's orders. After checking the backgrounds of Myung-gil's men, they moved forward with their mission. Meanwhile, Choi Tai-ho had agreed to move all the money out of the bookstore and asked Hyun-ju to start immediately since they were running out of time. The next day, Do-young and Yang-jun began investigating Myung-gil's headquarters and home. At the same time, Hyun-ju was preparing boxes to pack billions of dollars from the bookstore. Unbeknownst to them, Jang-do and Byum were secretly watching. Because of the large amount of money to move, Gun-woo and Woo-jin decided to use a trolley to make the process faster. But Byum saw the chance to attack them and knock them out. From the CCTV, Hyun-ju noticed something suspicious and rushed to help her friends. Unfortunately, Yang-do hit her in the back of the head, causing her to fall. Ironically, the stun gun she carried ended up backfiring on her. In the warehouse, Gun-woo and Woo-jin tried to fight off Byum using all their boxing skills. Punch after punch they threw at him, but Byum was too tough. It became clear that brute force wouldn't work, so they needed a new plan. Woo-jin was nearly killed by a shovel, but Gun-woo quickly figured out Byum's weak spot, his ear. They finally managed to knock Byum out. Woo-jin found something nearby to tie him up and left him in the warehouse. Meanwhile, Hyun-ju regained her composure just before Jang-do could kidnap her. Even with her hands cuffed, she fought back. Using her baton skills, she injured Jang-do, cutting his head. She then handcuffed him to an iron pipe. A little later, Jang-do escaped. When Hyun-ju noticed he was gone, she hurried to move the money faster, fearing Yang-do would return with reinforcements. Jang-do called Kim Myung-gil, telling him he needed to go to the hospital, but Kim ordered him to fix the situation no matter what. Kim grew more furious, especially since there was no word from Byum. Determined not to fail, Jang-do pushed through the pain. After finishing loading all the money into the car, Hyun-ju asked Gun-woo to drive. She had also emptied the safe, which was filled with gold and cash. At the same time, Jang-do met with the gangsters and led them to the bookstore. They surrounded Hyun-ju as she was loading Choi Tae-ho's money. Hyun-ju instructed Gun-woo to stay behind her car, no matter what. They broke through the back door to escape, with empty streets making it easier, except the heavy car slowed them down. Jang-do rammed Hyun-ju's car repeatedly. Despite her car being smaller, Hyun-ju pulled off a maneuver that wrecked Jang-do's car. When they reached the tunnel, Hyun-ju blocked the gangster's car, stopping them from overtaking Gun-woo. She didn't care that her car was wrecked, as her main goal was to protect Mr. Choi's money. With her car totaled, Hyun-ju and Woo-jin had to get out, carrying bags of pure gold that made walking difficult. Gun-woo had to toss out some boxes of money to make room for Hyun-ju and Woo-jin in his car. After finally escaping the gangsters, they returned safely to Mr. Choi's house. Hyun-ju apologized to Mr. Choi for not being able to bring all the contents of the safe, but Mr. Choi reassured her, saying their safety was far more important. Even though she was in pain, Hyun-ju tried to hide it from Mr. Choi because she didn't want him to worry. Meanwhile, Byum regained consciousness and managed to free himself. He went to the hospital where the doctor diagnosed him with damage to his eardrum. Kim Myung-gil then wanted to track down the car that carried the money from the bookstore, hoping to find out who was involved. Mr. Choi, feeling grateful, thanked Gun-woo and Woo-jin for their help. Since they had come into her life, Yeon-ju had been much happier. Mr. Choi was so pleased with Gun-woo's role in moving the money that he declared all of Gun-woo's loans paid off, meaning he no longer had to work as a bodyguard. He also offered to help Gun-woo and his mother start a cafe in another city, but Gun-woo politely declined, asking instead to stay and help fight against Kim Myung-gil, wanting to repay Mr. Choi's kindness. The next day, Gun-woo, Woo-jin, and Hyun-ju attended a dinner at Yang-jun's invitation, where Do-young was also present. Do-young didn't like the idea of Gun-woo and Woo-jin getting involved, fearing it could hurt their reputation as athletes. However, seeing their determination, Do-young finally agreed to let them join the mission. Do-young and Hyun-ju were assigned to deal with Jun-min, while Yang-jun and the two boxers would find Jang-do, who was reportedly at the hospital. Before starting the mission, Yang-jun gave Gun-woo and Woo-jin some quick training in knife techniques. Meanwhile, Hyun-ju received a new motorcycle that fit her needs, and Do-young trained her to strengthen her grip for using a club while riding. Soon after, Gun-woo, Woo-jin, and Yang-jun entered the hospital through the back door. Yang-jun spotted Jang-do just as he exited the elevator and kidnapped him. Jang-do resisted, and in the middle of the struggle, another man joined in to help Jang-do, so they had to fight him off as well. Eventually, they overpowered Jang-do and took him to Do-young's warehouse. Meanwhile, at the parking lot, Do-young and Hyun-ju successfully knocked Jun-min out. The chaos at the hospital enraged Kim Myung-gil, who felt his associates were in danger. He tried to check the CCTV footage to track down Jang-do, Woo, but ran into legal issues. To bypass this, he threatened a police officer named Min Gang-yong, a relative of Hong Min-byum. Myung-gil gave Gang-yong 3 hours to locate the car and motorcycle involved, threatening to release a damaging video of Hong Min-byum, which would cause Lil Group's stock to crash. Later, Mr. Choi went to his hideout to interrogate Yang-do about Kim Myung-gil's business. Goon-woo and Woo-jin prepared Celine's solution, as instructed by Yang-jun. After being tortured, Jang-do finally gave in and revealed information. Mr. Choi then promised to send him abroad and guarantee his safety in exchange for his cooperation. Jang-do exposed all of Myung-gil's evil deeds. Myung-gil isn't just an ordinary loan shark. All this time, Jang-do's job was to make sure the boss's illegal activities stayed hidden from the police. It turns out Myung-gil has been secretly keeping records of the scandals of dozens of officials and businessmen, using those records to blackmail them. No one has dared to challenge Smile Capital's business so far. All the data is stored in a high-tech safe in Myung-gil's room. He knew the information could land him in jail, so he built a special device into the safe. It can automatically destroy itself. Choi Tae-ho then asked where Myung-gil had hidden the stolen gold, but Jang-do said he didn't know. Only Byum knew about that. Choi Tae-ho later told Hyun-ju how much money Myung-gil had stolen from him. He also shared his plan to leave the country with Hyun-ju, Goon-woo, and Woo-jin once all their problems were resolved. A little while later, everyone gathered at Choi Tae-ho's place. That night, they drank together and planned how to catch Kim Myung-gil. Afterward, Do-young and Young-jun caught up with each other since it had been a long time. Young-jun was surprised to learn that Do-young now had a wife and was about to become a father. Do-young hadn't told Young-jun earlier because he was sure Young-jun wouldn't let him join the mission if he knew about his family. Gang-young finally found out where Young-do was being held. As soon as Gang-young gave Myung-gil the exact location, Myung-gil sent dozens of gangsters there. But when the gangsters reached the warehouse, it was empty. They found no one. After searching the warehouse, they discovered Do-young's ID and where he lived. Late that night, Do-young's wife heard a knock on the door. A man claiming to live downstairs said he wanted to check for water leaks. When Do-young heard this, he became suspicious. He quickly told his wife to call the police and hide while he tried to block all the doors and windows. Unfortunately, a gang of thugs broke into the house through a window. Kim Myung-gil threatened to kill Do-young's wife if he didn't reveal where Yang-jun and Choi Tae-ho were. In the end, Kim Myung-gil killed Do-young. Meanwhile, at Choi Tae-ho's house, everyone was still in a happy mood, unaware of the tragedy that had just happened to Do-young. After Hyun-ju, Goon-woo, and his mother left for the orphanage to help with the children, only Choi Tae-ho and Woo-jin were left in the house. Young-jun had to leave to open his restaurant. When Young-jun arrived at his restaurant, he was surprised to find Kim Myung-gil waiting for him. Young-jun hadn't expected Myung-gil to track him down so quickly. Myung-gil, armed with weapons, was ready for a fight. He had come alone, preferring to handle Yang-jun personally. After a fierce battle, Yang-jun was killed by Myung-gil, who was fully equipped with bladed shoes and a protective jacket. Meanwhile, a large group of gangsters arrived at Choi Tae-ho's mansion and easily broke in. Woo-jin quickly realized they were surrounded. As Choi Tae-ho went to retrieve a gun from his room, a gangster leader attacked Woo-jin, slamming him repeatedly to the ground. After the attack, Woo-jin was stabbed in the stomach. Choi Tae-ho's gun didn't help much because there were too many gangsters. Byum eventually knocked Choi Tae-ho down. A little later, Kim Myung-gil arrived with 2 containers of gasoline. He planned to burn down Choi Tae-ho's house, but before doing that, he took the knife Choi Tae-ho had used to cut his face years ago. When Myung-gil saw the open safe, his greed took over, and he grabbed all of Choi Tae-ho's money, leaving nothing behind. Goon-woo and Hyun-ju were shocked when they came back from the orphanage and found Choi Tae-ho's house on fire. Goon-woo carried Woo-jin out and rushed him to the hospital, while Hyun-ju cried as she saw Choi Tae-ho lying lifeless on the ground. The doctors struggled during Woo-jin's surgery because of heavy bleeding, and Goon-woo begged the nurse to take as much of his blood as needed to save his friend's life. Hyun-ju's deep sadness at the loss of a grandfather figure who always looked after her and loved her, and Woo-jin's dying condition made her soul shaken. So without Goon-woo's knowing, she left the hospital. When Goon-woo realized she was missing, he assumed she needed time alone to calm down. Amidst his sorrow, Goon-woo received the good news that Woo-jin's surgery had been successful. A few months later, Woo-jin fully recovered, and both he and Goon-woo left Seoul to live in the countryside with Oh and Mook. Every day they trained hard, both physically and mentally, to prepare for their ultimate goal, taking down Kim Myung-gil and his gang. Oh and Mook tried to dissuade them, reminding them that 2 fighters had already died at Myung-gil's hands. But Goon-woo was confident, believing that with determination and the help of many, they could defeat Myung-gil. One day, while visiting Choi Tae-ho's grave, In-mook received a letter from Hyun-ju. She wrote that she had gone to Rome because staying in Korea reminded her too much of Mr. Choi, and leaving was the only way to ease her grief. A few days later, In-mook gave Goon-woo and Woo-jin a suitcase of money, the last reserve left by Choi Tae-ho. In-Muk hoped they could use it to bring down Kim Myung-gil. The next day, Gun-woo and Woo-jin returned to Seoul and stayed in a small boarding house owned by In-Muk's granddaughter Damin. She told them that there was a car in the basement bought by her grandfather to support their plan. Gun-woo and Woo-jin began their mission by trying to gather support from the moneylenders Jae Myung had cheated. However, most of them were too afraid to fight back, preferring to give up their money rather than risk their lives. Moon Gwang-moo faced the threat of bankruptcy after being deceived by Smile Capital Group. He was promised money from the sale of bonds, but instead he was fined for a failed bond transaction. When he couldn't pay the fine on time, the mafia from Smile Capital beat him up and trashed his office. Gwang-moo had no idea that Choi Tae-ho had died. When he heard the news, he felt deeply guilty for not being able to repay Choi Tae-ho's kindness. Meanwhile, Gun-woo and Woo-jin confronted Kim Jae-myung and his gang, who were still working for Kim Myung-gil. Jae-myung's latest victims were no longer homeless people, but disabled individuals. Realizing he couldn't beat the two boxers, Jae-myung decided to spill everything about Kim Myung-gil's business, now managed by Young Min. He also revealed that the conflict between Kim Myung-gil and Hong Min-beom continued because the Lyle Group hadn't approved the casino construction. Unable to get in touch with Hong Min-beom directly, Woo-jin sent him a message through his social media. At the same time, Kim Myung-gil was still pressuring Hong Min-beom to sign a contract for the repayment of a $100 billion loan, along with interest. Hong Min-beom, fearing the release of a damaging video, felt powerless against Myung-gil's threats. One night, after being tortured by Myung-gil, Hong Min-beom unexpectedly received a message from someone offering to help him fight back. This person also claimed to know where Myung-gil stored all the incriminating video files. Hong Min-beom's cousin, who is also a police officer, Gang Yong, then set up a meeting of Gun-woo, Woo-jin, and Hong Min-beom at a bar. Gun-woo, who never drank alcoholic beverages, finally accepted Hong Min-beom's invitation to drink to build trust between them. As for Woo-jin, he showed them a scar on his stomach. While under the influence of alcohol, Hong Min-beom expressed his despair that he couldn't fight Kim Myung-gil. After that meeting, Gang Yong started to trust Gun-woo and Woo-jin, realizing they were good guys. Hong Min-beom then invited them back to his house to continue drinking. The next morning, Woo-jin even cooked breakfast for everyone. During breakfast, Gun-woo shared his plan to take down Kim Myung-gil. They decided to work with a police computer expert to hack into Kim Myung-gil's phone and activate an app that could trigger the destruction feature on his safe. Gang Yong introduced his team to Gun-woo and Woo-jin, and they agreed to carry out the plan on the day of the contract signing between Hong Min-beom and Kim Myung-gil. On that day, Hong Min-beom told Myung-gil that he would only sign the contract if Myung-gil agreed to delete the nasty video he was holding over him. Myung-gil couldn't refuse because the entire meeting room recorded on CCTV. Reluctantly, Kim Myung-gil handed over his phone, and Hong Min-beom quickly turned on the Wi-Fi, allowing the cyber team to hack into it. In no time, they found the safe app and activated the system, causing the safe in Myung-gil's house to catch fire. Finally, Hong Min-beom was free from Kim Myung-gil's threats. Gang Yong promised Gun-woo and Woo-jin that he would make sure Kim Myung-gil ended up in prison. Grateful for their help in getting rid of the video, Hong Min-beom offered to pay for laser surgery to remove the scars on Gun-woo's face, but Gun-woo refused, saying that because of that scar, he had met many amazing people. After their first successful mission, Gun-woo and Woo-jin moved on to their next target, Beom, Kim Myung-gil's trusted bodyguard. Beom was the only one who knew where Myung-gil kept his gold. When Myung-gil got home, he noticed a burnt smell. He checked his safe and found all his important documents destroyed. Furious, Myung-gil called Jae Min, a corrupt police officer working for him. He ordered Jae Min to find Choi Tae-ho's allies and track down In-Muk. Myung-gil also told his wife he had backup videos of other officials and planned to use them to threaten Hong Min-beom again when the time was right. Determined to get revenge, Kim Myung-gil sent gangsters to find In-Muk. After questioning various people, they finally tracked down In-Muk's house and kidnapped him, taking him to Seoul. Gun-woo soon found out about the kidnapping, and the captors demanded he come to an abandoned mall in Incheon without involving the police. Da-min, In-Muk's granddaughter, who was skilled in archery, decided to join Gun-woo and Woo-jin to help rescue her grandfather. Woo-jin also reached out to his senior, Moon Gwang-moo, who, despite his hand injury, felt compelled to help repay In-Muk for past favors. When they arrived at the abandoned building, they split up. Gun-woo and Woo-jin went in through the lobby, while Gwang-moo and Da-min entered from the parking lot to watch from above. The fight started when Beom gave the signal to attack Gun-woo and Woo-jin. Gun-woo knocked out his opponents with a few strong punches, while Da-min took aim with her bow from upstairs. When the gang leader tried to stop her, Gwang-moo stepped in, and they began a fierce fight. The gang leader, a former MMA fighter, overpowered Gwang-moo until Woo-jin arrived to help. Meanwhile, Gun-woo faced Beom, the bodyguard who had beaten him before. This time, however, Gun-woo's strength had improved, and he knocked Beom out with a single powerful blow. With Beom and the gang leader defeated, Gun-woo and Woo-jin interrogated the gang leader, threatening and torturing him until he revealed where Oh and Mook was being held. They rushed to a fish farm to rescue him and asked for Gang Yong's help to raid the place. However, Gang Yong unknowingly trusted Jae Min, who betrayed them by tipping off Kim Myung-gil. As a result, Myung-gil fled the scene before Gun-woo and Woo-jin arrived. When they reached the location where Oh and Mook was supposed to be, they found it empty, and Gang Yong realized the plan had been leaked. Meanwhile, Gwang-moo took Byum to an empty warehouse to try and get information about the location of Choi Tae-ho's stolen gold. Byum's loyalty to Kim Myung-gil was so strong that he even tried to commit suicide by biting his own tongue. This made Gun-woo panic, and he quickly called an ambulance, not wanting to lose a life just for their plan. The next day, Gang Yong nearly got poisoned when he drank coffee at his favorite cafe. Kim Myung-gil had sent someone disguised as a waiter to slip a dangerous substance into his drink. Fortunately, Gang Yong managed to save himself by spitting out the drink and swallowing some salt. The same danger also affected a detective and a cyber team Gang Yong had previously tasked with hacking Kim Myung-gil's phone. Hong Min-beom became frustrated when he learned that copies of his video were still out there. Kim Myung-gil warned Gun-woo and Woo-jin to stop their plans if they wanted to save Oh and Mook. Myung-gil instructed them to come to the fish farm that evening. Gun-woo, feeling disheartened and doubting their chances after failing to contact Gang Yong, was encouraged by Woo-jin not to give up. Despite the tough situation, Gun-woo and Woo-jin managed to defeat Myung-gil's thugs, who weren't as formidable as they had feared. When Da-min saw Kim Myung-gil about to hurt her grandfather, she quickly shot him in the chest, causing him to flee. Although they didn't manage to catch Kim Myung-gil, everyone was relieved to bring Oh and Mook home safely. Even though Oh and Mook was still weak and in the hospital, Gang Yong organized a team to search Kim Myung-gil's house and arrest his accomplices, including Lieutenant Jae Min. They also inspected the fish farm, suspecting it was where Myung-gil executed his enemies. Despite Myung-gil being wanted by the police, Hong Min-beom remained anxious and wanted him in prison as soon as possible. Gun-woo and Woo-jin offered to help Hong Min-beom find Kim Myung-gil, determined not to let him escape with Choi Tae-ho's money. Gun-woo's suspicion about Kim Myung-gil's escape plan proved correct. Jun-min, still loyal to Myung-gil, was seen buying a container truck to move Myung-gil's stolen gold. Gun-woo reached out to Jang-do, who knew where Kim Myung-gil was heading. Jang-do, however, demanded 1 billion won for this information. With no money, Gun-woo had to ask Hong Min-beom for help. Meanwhile, Kim Myung-gil was preparing to smuggle his gold to Vietnam. After receiving the payment from Gun-woo, Jang-do provided details about the ship's name, container number, and departure time. Using this information, Gun-woo and Woo-jin found Kim Myung-gil on the ship. They pursued him as he tried to hide among the containers. A fierce fight broke out. Kim Myung-gil had to admit that Gun-woo was tougher than he anticipated. After defeating Myung-gil, Gun-woo told him he could live but must never return to Korea. On the other side of the ship, Woo-jin used a taser gun to immobilize Jun-min. Although Woo-jin struggled against Beom, who kept tossing him around, he eventually managed to win the fight. After defeating their opponents, Gun-woo and Woo-jin decided to return to their old lives as boxers. As morning approached, they discovered a container filled with hundreds of pure gold bars. They also recovered Kim Myung-gil's cell phone and turned it over to the authorities. Hong Min-beom's troubles were finally over. He met up with them on his yacht, and after checking and counting the gold that Kim Myung-gil had stolen from Mr. Choi, they were stunned to find it worth over $80 billion. Despite the fortune, Gun-woo and Woo-jin had no intention of keeping the gold. They hoped Hong Min-beom, as a construction company owner, would use it to build a hospital to help the poor. Hong Min-beom agreed, and even promised to find additional funds for the hospital. As a thank you, he gave 2 gold bars each to Gun-woo and Woo-jin. He believed that if Mr. Choi were still alive, he would have done the same. Thanks to the honesty and hard work of these 2 fighters, Choi Tae-ho's dreams came true. In the end, Gun-woo went to pick up his mother from the orphanage, and they began a happy and fulfilling new chapter in their lives.